Hello, everyone. I'm Cortney Jones. I'm a 30-year investor, creative investor, actually. And I'm here today with Deborah Razzo, the founder of REN, the Women's Real Estate Network. Hey, Deborah.
Hi, Courtney. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So I wanted to bring Deborah live to everyone. You know, Deborah doesn't usually get to be interviewed. She's usually the one doing the interviewing. So she just recently finished a rehab, and I saw some of the before and after pictures, and they were stunning. So I thought it would be an awesome opportunity to share a little bit about that. So tell us about this recent rehab, Deborah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many people out there know that rehabbing is my first love, right? It's how I started in the business. Now, I know Courtney started wholesaling, right? But me, I started flipping. I started rehabbing. And so it's always been my first love. I think the pictures that you're referring to is a rehab I did in Cambria. And it was a little bit remote. It's like 3 hours from my house. And there was a lot of debate as to whether I was going to take on that project or not. But we ended up taking it on. And there were some unique challenges, especially when it came to finding the right contractors, because the people in this remote area are craftsmen, not contractors. So it was like I would call somebody and I'd be like, so can I, get a bid for the countertops? And he would like, I can be out there in 8 weeks. And I like, I'm gonna be done in 8 weeks. You
Yeah,
understand?
time is money in the rehabs.
Time is totally money in rehabs. And so there were some challenges, but I think from being an entrepreneur for so long, you are a problem solver when you're an entrepreneur. And so, you have to figure out ways around. In fact, I think we figured out a pretty unique solution for our flooring person. We actually shipped our flooring from Los Angeles area up to this area about 3 hours. We drove the flooring up. And then our person that does our flooring is somebody who works regularly on our projects. And we offered them a weekend away in the house as soon as the house was done, because the house was about a block and a half from the beach. It was a great, resort area. So, and they took us up on it. So they came up, we
Nice.
did the flooring, we finished it out the project, and then we offered them, a long weekend in the place. So, you find ways to, incentivize people and pull people forward. I've often gotten asked, is now a good time for rehabbing? And, I have to say, I think that every time, all the time, is a good time for rehabbing, because it is all about the buying. It's all about the price that you buy at. I'm in a couple rehabs right now. I'll have one done at the end of the month. I'll have another done in about, I just finished demo work on it. So the other one won't be done for another 3 months. And if you're interested in finding out more about rehabbing, you can go to redmonthlymeeting.com, because I'm actually speaking on the 18th,
Yes,
and
so
you'll
for
find
many
out
people
more.
don't know that like you're the founder of REN, the Women's Real Estate Network, and next week you're going to be teaching. This is the first time I think in 3 years you've taught a class, and you're
It
going to be
is.
teaching all about rehabbing next Wednesday.
I'm going to be teaching all about rehabbing. I'm going to talk about the process of it. We're going to get into the numbers, because one of the things that people ask me all the time is, how do you calculate your rehab budget? How do you calculate your numbers? And we're going to get into that. And, I'm giving away spreadsheets. So, you need to come and educate yourself. And in fact, I'm such a proponent of education. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to start mentoring, and especially with you, Courtney, because I think that a lot of people that get into rehabbing, that get into creative financing, wholesaling, any of those things, you have to be persistent in those areas.
Yeah.
And you need mentors to keep you going, to bounce your ideas off of, or just to give you a swift kick.
Yeah, for sure. It's really easy to call two people and have them tell you they want full price for the house and be like, okay, yeah, this doesn't work. But when you're working with people like us who've been doing it for 30 years on my part, 13 years on your part, then we can be the reality to tell you, okay, well, you need to make 100 of those calls and hear that 100 times before you're going to get a deal, And so that definitely that kind of reality check is helpful. And I think that's where our mentoring comes in handy.
Yes, it is. And it's interesting, because I think you and I, who've been in the business for a little while, it's like we don't, we see something not working, we move on. It's like boom, boom, boom. And I think, we're not sitting there trying to force a square peg into a round hole. If this
Right.
person wants to make a deal, they'll come back and they'll, be more amenable to negotiating, right?
Right.
But
Right.
if that's not happening, go to the next one. There are millions of houses out there.
Yeah, I feel like that's always one of the biggest mistakes people make. They get somebody that talks to them just a small amount, and now all of their time and attention is devoted to that one person. And I'm like, you need to have 40 of those going on at the same time. Like, you need to keep that going.
Yeah. And for rehabbing, I feel the same way about contractors. Not that I don't love each and every one of them that I employ, but it's a numbers game, and
For
it's
sure.
about numbers and time, right? Like sometimes a contractor will give me a really high bid and I think, oh, he's busy.
Right.
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 And then sometimes a contractor will come in really low and he's great, but he has time on his hands, and so he's looking to fill his gaps, keep his guys busy. So it's really playing that game and making sure that you're papering a lot of people, getting a lot of different ideas, talking to a lot of contractors when you're rehabbing, making sure that you're coming in at your budgets, making sure that you're keeping your timeline, because what you said earlier is true. Rehabbers work on time. Most of the time, we're working on hard money, and hard money is expensive,
Yeah, rehabbing is all about time management and budget management. And if you can't
so,
do those things, you shouldn't be rehabbing. But we can help you get better at it. So if you have an idea, if all your experience with rehabbing is watching HGTV, we can help, because that is not reality.
no, that isn't reality at all. And the fact of the matter is, you've got to get out there and make offers. And I think sometimes, especially when you're new in the business, you're as scared about making offers as you are as about getting the offer. Like getting the offer accepted,
Exactly.
right?
Right.
So,
One step at a time, baby steps. And
right.
that's what we do with them in the mentoring program. That's what I love about it, is we walk them through the baby steps. You don't need to be worrying about how you're going to sell a property till you get one under contract. So like, let's focus on step 1, then we'll worry about baby step 2, and so forth.
Right. Let's not take a lot of time on a logo right now,
Yeah.
because that's not going to get you any property. You got to spend your time on the phone. You got to spend your time networking. You got to spend your time, evaluating properties. You really have to dig into the work, and sometimes that work can be something that's a little hard for you to get motivated for. And that's why we started this, because we know that. We know that. And so, but the fact of the matter is, when you have accountability, when somebody is going to be like, how many calls did you make? What are you doing? I mean, you're either going to step up, or, you're going to be like, oh, wait a minute, what did I get myself into? But, that's what you need to do. And, there's some amazing benefits from being a real estate investor. I mean, you can talk to Cortney. I've grown my portfolio now over the years, and I'm so thankful, right? I mean, I have this cash flow that's coming in now. I don't rehab only. I rehab for my chunk money, because I needed money to buy my buy and holds. And that was my investment philosophy. You'll learn from Cortney that her investment philosophy was a little different, but yeah, so you got to decide where your talents are and then figure out where to go forward.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I love about our mentoring program, is we really work with people almost one-on-one. I mean, it's such a small group. We only allow a small group of people in at the same time. So we're able to really give them, you and I personally giving them that attention and finding out where are they at now and where do they want to go and how are we going to help them get there, and then walking them through all the baby steps that it takes to get there and holding them accountable, which is fun. And then I love the fact that we've added the component of the accountability within each other and creating those group environments where they're holding each other accountable. And I think it is a fun aspect for them as well, which is really, I think it adds a different dimension.
And there's a timeliness to it. Our mentoring program only lasts 4 months. So it's like, get in, get going.
Let's get this done, people.
Let's get it done, right? And we did that on purpose, and it's to continue that motion, to continue that driving, and so that you can get into deals, and that you can, whatever your New Year's goals are, you can make those. We can help you make that happen.
Absolutely. So we're starting on January 30th for our next group. And if you want to hear more about mentoring with Deborah and I, you can go to Momentum Mentoring RE. You can see it right there. MomentumMentoringRE.com to learn more details. And it's super cheap. Like less than a cup of coffee a day. And you can be getting mentoring that can change your life for a lifetime.
Right. Get that income coming in through real estate. What do they say? 97% of millionaires are made through real estate, right? Be one of them.
Yeah. And what better time to do it than the beginning of a new year to kick off your New Year's goals?
Absolutely.
So hope to see you all soon and be mentoring with you as well.
Thank you. Thanks, Cortney.
Bye.